Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, we're going to be chatting about closing deals from anywhere, hopefully while using creative financing and other people's money like Mel and I do. So we're going to wait. We're live on all platforms right now. So going to wait until everyone, here, let me open up the chat. Want this to be interactive. If you have questions, again, do not be shy. There, the chat is open. So if you're new to us, I'm Dave from Investor Mel and Dave. My wife and I, Mel, who we now have purchased over 260 units in 5 different countries. And that's what I want to talk about today, how we can do this from the laptop that I'm talking to you from here in North Bay, Ontario, Canada, and how we're buying in different provinces in Canada, different states in the US, right? In the States, we're doing Florida, Texas, and Ohio. Costa Rica, Mexico, and Dominican Republic. So if you're thinking to yourself, how in the heck are you buying in other places? We will be chatting about that today, okay? Now, some interesting announcements. I'm just trying to find it here. If you're tuning in today live, there we go, here. I'm just gonna put it in the chat here so I remember, paste. So, okay. If you're in Canada, let's talk about the interest rates. So the interest rates so far this year have gone down 0.75 basis points, which is super exciting. And I believe it was last week or the week before. No, it was the week before. Mel and I were in Miami, and the Fed announced a mega cut of 0.5, which is awesome, right? So the next announcements, if you're an investor and you've been sitting on the fence, and whether you want to do it in Canada or the US, right? Or some other places, right? Close deals from anywhere. Like the title of today is, if you want to do in Costa Rica or Mexico or Dominican Republic, you can definitely do so. But Canada, the next announcement will be on October 23rd. So like 2-3 weeks from now, or what? October 2nd right now. So yeah, 21 days, exactly 3 weeks from now. And then December 11th. Some economists are predicting 0.5 cuts on both times. So if that happens, my gosh, the market is going to heat up, which is awesome. The buildings Mel and I already have are going to go up in valuation, which is awesome. Now, the US, right? So the overnight lending rate currently right now is 5.33. They just did a cut of 0.5, which is awesome. And the Fed will do another announcement on November 7th and December 18th. So very exciting. Now, today's, and again, don't be shy, put questions in the chat. I'll try and catch them all. Again, we're live on multiple platforms right now. If you're tuning in, whatever platform you're on, please subscribe, follow, whatever platform, whatever they do on that one, please make sure to follow Mel and I. It's always at Investor Mel Dave. So if you tune in from Instagram and you're like, hey, I want to check out your YouTube, it's at Investor Mel Dave. On YouTube, we're just about to hit 94,000. I just need my phone. I want to do some math here. Yeah. So what was I going to say? I think we're about to hit 94,000 subscribers. So we're going to hit 100,000 in a week or so from now, which is amazing. We'll get our YouTube plaque, which would be super cool. The other thing too is if you're following us on YouTube and you're like, hey, I want to see the reels you guys post on Instagram, it's always at Investor Mel Dave. Okay. So today's going to be about how we close deals different places. Now, the premise of real estate is always the same. Like the lion's share of the real estate investing is always pretty much the same. What I mean by that is, let's break it down. Okay, and I'm just gonna, go 40,000 foot level, and there might be some really seasoned investors that are listening to this. There might be some beginners that are listening to this, but the premise is always pretty much the same. Where do you want to invest? So if you're in Canada, pick a province that you want to invest in, right? I like choosing investor-focused provinces. In the US, I like choosing investor-focused states, okay? Why is that important? Well, there's different landlord-tenant laws. So for example, if you pick a province that is more tenant-friendly, you might have more difficulties to just do simple things as collecting rent. Whereas if you pick somewhere, province or state more investor-friendly, and I'll have my phone soon to do some math. So I'll be able to kind of, as we're breaking down some numbers later on as we're talking. But yeah, so that's what I like doing is where do I want to invest? So, and this goes for 2 different things. So I'm talking long-term phone. Oh, sorry, cleaning lady's just here. Rebecca, do you mind grabbing my phone, please? I just want to be able to do some math on it. Thanks. Rebecca's awesome. Anyway, what was I saying? So If you're Canada and US, it's province and states, right? If you're looking at doing Costa Rica, like Mel and I do, or Mexico or Dominican Republic, there's different criterias as to picking your market. So let's just break it down. Well, you know what? Let's backtrack. Let's go to Florida. Mel and I are primarily multifamily investors, right? We use other people's money to buy multifamily properties. However, we do midterm to short-term rentals as well. So let's just, let's pick on Florida for the moment. We have short-term rentals in Orlando, wide in all of Florida. And guys, you already know the answer to this, right? In all of Florida, why did Mel and I pick Orlando for our short-term rentals, right? The ears, right? You guys all know the symbol, the two ears with the head, like Mickey Mouse. It's very simple. So that's why we picked our short-term rentals, and we're able to close these deals from North Bay, Ontario, Canada, right, where we're located. So the premise of closing deals from anywhere, again, is picking your market first. Costa Rica. Why did we pick the area that we're investing in Costa Rica? So if you're Googling a map of, Costa Rica, look at the West Coast. You'll see Tamarindo. Tamarindo is a very high tourist area. When Mel and I go, we see lots of surfers. We see lots of, youth, lots of people getting away on like spring break and all that. And we picked just north of there and just south of there because when Mel and I vacation, we don't want to be in those high touristy areas as well. So selfishly, we didn't necessarily want to be directly in Tamarindo. So we picked just north of there, Cocoa Beach and Potrero, Ocotal, and below it, our 10 unit, and we could talk about this today too, the 10 unit boutique hotel that we did in Costa Rica with none of our own money and creative financing is just south of Tamarindo, which is, I always butcher this, Juan Canal. Again, all done from a distance, closing it. I've never been to Juan Canal. I can't even pronounce the place where we bought in a 10-plex. But that's the thing, is we're able to do it without even visiting that area yet. Same thing with Dominican Republic. Where did we pick? Punta Cana. Has some of the best beaches in the world. It's been voted that numerous times. And then Mexico, we picked, Tulum. Oh my gosh. You have too many properties in too many different places when you have to go through the Rolodex. Like, where do I own again? Mexico, we picked Tulum for different touristy areas as well. So that's how we pick our market. Again, 40,000 foot level. So wherever you want to close deals, wherever you want to buy real estate in different countries, it's picking your market. Someone said here in the chat, and Corrivier, no state income tax. I think maybe they made a mistake in the typing. Oh, they were saying no state income tax because I was talking about Florida. Yes. Okay, correct. Never mind. Yes, you're right. So it's picking the market 40,000 foot level. Now let's keep going. Right now that we've picked a market, how do we find deals? How do we do that type of thing? Sorry, the dentist is calling me. It's so funny because I thought I had to call the dentist earlier. So when you're like, hey, I was just thinking that, and someone calls you. Anyway, the dentist is calling right now. I got to call him back. But when you get those spidey senses, sixth sense, like I was just thinking about you and you called me. Weird. But finding deals. So once you determine which province, which state, which country you want to invest in, then it's going to be going a little bit more micro. So for example, Costa Rica, I told you why Mel and I picked where we picked, because those cities were more appealing to us while still having a higher touristy area and being not so far from a really high tourist area. Let's pick Canada. Mel and I are investing in Alberta. Okay, it's a investor-friendly province, right? It's landlord-friendly, and we picked Edmonton. Edmonton is booming. What do you call it? The not rental rates. The vacancy rate is I think it's like 1 or less than 1. It's going up in percentages, right? So we picked that particular market in that particular province. And that's how we're investing. Literally, the agreement. Actually, go check out our YouTube videos. We just released 2 YouTube videos in the last couple of weeks. One showing agreement for sale, the breakdown of it, and then the other one was the second one was I can't remember the second one now. But we did 2. I'm going to be doing a third one. I did the breakdown of agreement for sale. I think I did the pros and cons of agreement for sale, and then I'm going to do a third video in the next coming weeks about agreement for sales seller financing versus vendor take back seller financing. I haven't done that yet, but if not submit, oh my gosh, subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll see it when I come out with it. But that's cool stuff. So we picked that market. Now let's talk about the US. Let's pick on Ohio. We're investing in Ohio. Why did we pick Ohio? It is in my opinion, investor-friendly, landlord-friendly state, okay? It has a very low price per door. So let's go to an example right now that we might wholesale. So we bought a triplex for $72,000. Okay, very cheap. That's what, 72K, let me use my calculator, 72,000 divided by 3. That's $24,000 a door. Where else can you buy real estate for $24,000 a door? So why did Mel and I pick that? Again, reverse engineer. We looked at the province or the state. We looked at the city or the county or the municipality, and we liked it. Okay, so if you're an investor and you're looking, how do I close deals outside of my backyard? I'm just giving you the blueprint how Mel and I do this in different countries and different areas. So yeah, once you pick a country, once you pick a province or state, and then once you pick a city, then going from there, how do you analyze deals? So let's take a step back again. What type of investor are you? Or if you're like, Dave, I don't really know yet, do you want to be? Okay. As I mentioned, Mel and I are mostly multifamily long-term rentals. Like if you, and we review it every week, but when you look at the lion's share 40,000 foot view of our portfolio, it's multifamily long-term rentals. The banks love it, right? Tenants pay the rent, which pays down our mortgage, which gives us cash flow. And now with the interest rates going down in Canada and the US, our buildings are actually worth more, which again, what is the long game here, guys? It's not always about just the monthly cash flow today that I live off of. Yes, that's very important. It's also the personal net worth, your PNW, okay? So once you can pick what type of investor you want to be, if you're saying, Dave, I spoke to the lady actually yesterday. She was saying, I don't want to deal with tenants whatsoever. I don't want to deal with tenants. She's actually in Montreal. I don't want to deal with tenants whatsoever. I think she's just north of Montreal. Doesn't matter. She's in Quebec. She's in Montreal. I don't want to deal with tenants whatsoever. I get no satisfaction out of that. I don't want to get phone calls. There's always the myth, right? Toilets, tenants, and I forget. People always say, I never want to deal with midnight phone call plumbing issues, and I don't want to deal with other things. Mel and I used to manage an entire property management company with over 350 units under management. Okay, so we had 350 units, whatever, how many staff we had. We rarely got, hey, my toilet is blocked at midnight. Like that honestly, probably once a month with 350 units. So it's not the lion's share of what you're going to be dealing with. However, you don't have to deal with that. You can buy real estate. This is what I love. How can you close deals anywhere? Like the title of today's conversation. One of the biggest things, just like the lady from Montreal yesterday, is I don't want to manage properties. I don't want to be a landlord. Okay. Remove yourself. And what I mean by remove yourself is Mel and I are investing in 5 countries, right? If you're just tuning in, Canada, US, Costa Rica, Mexico, and Dominican Republic, I'm not managing those buildings. How could I? I don't even manage the buildings in my own city, let alone my own country, let alone North America, right? It's all managing the managers, having property managers that oversee the asset and do what they're best at, right? You pay them to do so and you let them manage it. So how to close deals anywhere, just like the title of today's live, right? Today's video, today's live, depending where you're tuning in from, is exactly that. So if you're worried about what kind of investor do I want to be, who's going to manage the asset, who's going to take the phone calls, who's going to collect the rent, if it's short-term rental, who's going to turn over the unit before the other people check in at 3 o'clock, all of that can be done simply with property management. And that's what Mel and I more and more like to do. There's nothing wrong with self-managing your units, your assets. I'm really glad that Mel and I self-managed in the beginning, right? We had 76 units. We managed them completely, 3 kids, 3 jobs each, 2 dogs. And then we almost had burnout. Then we created a property management company. We managed 350 units with employees, with staff, or team members, I should say, not employees. I don't like saying that, team members. Then we completely outsourced because we didn't want to deal with it anymore. We wanted to do what we love, which is buy assets and real estate. So all this to tell you that you can be, yes, a landlord that takes care with the asset every single day, or you can be an investor that, yes, owns real estate, but has other people manage it for them. Okay, so that if you're looking at closing deals from anywhere, that's something you'll need to have a conversation with. And do you want to be long-term rentals, right? Do you want to be short-term rentals? And something I see is people always think Airbnb, VRBO, whatever other sites do the short-term stuff, they make more money than long-term rentals. Okay, so let's have a conversation about that. I'm going to put an asterisk, right? A little whatever asterisk. It depends. And I don't like saying it depends because I find it too vague sometimes, but it absolutely does depend as to where and what. So for example, my laptop is going to die in like 2 minutes. I have battery 18%. Okay, hopefully Rebecca's vacuuming in the other room. Hopefully she can hear me. But I am, here, let me message her. Dave, really, you couldn't charge your laptop before you went live? Charger, please, Rebecca. I might just need to get up and get it before we die here. But what was I getting at? Oh, people always think short-term rentals will always supersede long-term rentals. So, like, I just want you to not go into things blindly, right? How to close deals from anywhere and how to determine what type of investor you want to be. Well, it doesn't mean that 100% of the time short-term rentals or mid-term rentals will trump or beat long-term rentals. And let me just give you some real life examples. Okay. So where do I want to use this? I've got some properties in Northern Ontario where sometimes I would rent them long-term. And if a vacancy came up, just before forest fire season, I could now do midterm rentals to forest firefighters who were in and out of camp and needed a place to stay. So would I make more money when I was midterm rentals during those peak summer months when they literally needed a place, a home base to stay between fighting the forest, right? When they weren't, on duty in camp? Yeah, that midterm rental made me more. But if I just had a midterm model in that Northern Ontario city, the other, 8 months of the year, 7 months of the year, I wouldn't make more than if I had long-term. So it all depends on where you're at. Let's say Costa Rica, just north of Tamarindo, let's say Cocoa Beach. So we've got some places there. It's starting now. I mean, I did a story the other day, right? It's October now and people got a little chill and like, you know what? I need to plan a winter vacation. So it's picking up again, even more, right? The occupancy is going, 60, 75, 80. It's going to go up even more. So October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, like December, Jan, Feb, March here, let me get my hand in that Costa Rica area. Good luck trying to rent, even me trying to go there. Mel and I are basically on standby. And if there's a cancellation, we're like, yeah, we'll go for a week last minute. So those peak times in Costa Rica, absolutely, that short-term rental is through the roof, making me way more money than if I did long-term rental. Okay, fast forward, rainy season and slow season, then the short-term rental doesn't look as sexy, right? Now you might say, hey, before it was absolutely, X amount of dollar per night during peak season. But now that it's mid to low season, maybe I'll rent it for the month and I won't charge as high per night because I'll take a discount that I'm full for the month instead of, trying to get that highest per night. So just think of what kind of investor you want to be in whatever market you pick. And every market will have different ways of looking at it. But there's no right or wrong, or there's no perfect solution. Okay. So please don't think that one is better than the other. It all depends. So once you've done that, once you've determined what country, what province, state, what area, and then what city, what county, what municipality you want to invest in, then yes, determine what kind of investor you want to be. Then you got to start looking at deals, right? You got to build an investor-focused team. And by the way, all of this, guys, Mel and I teach this. We actually have a webinar tomorrow at this exact same time. I should have mentioned this earlier. We go live tomorrow at noon, right? Eastern time, which I'm in right now. We go live exactly 24 hours from now, and we will show you how we do this. We analyze 5 deals with you. We talk about different types of creative financing, right? Agreement for sale. We'll talk about that. We talk about seller financing, vendor take back. We talk about using registered or retirement funds. So RRSPs in Canada, 401k Roth IRA in the US, and then also promissory notes. So if you want that, even if you can't make it tomorrow, register. Team, put the link below, please. put the link below to register. And I guess if you're on YouTube, just send us the word webinar. Put the word webinar in the chat, and the team will send it to you. Look at me doing short acronyms as I'm talking to you. Even if you cannot attend. So the beauty of this is, even if you cannot attend, even if you register and you get the replay after, you will get a copy of Mel and I's Amazon best-selling, one of Mel and I's Amazon best-selling books. So if you're like, Dave, I can't watch the webinar tomorrow at noon, cool. Get the replay, watch it that night, get our Amazon best-selling ebook for free, and you're going to be way ahead as a real estate investor than you are right now, not joining that webinar or not registering for it. So team, please put the link in the chat. That'd be great. Let me answer a couple of questions. Sophion, hi friend, how are you? I'm awesome. Thank you for asking. Benjamin Bray, Alberta is fantastic. I agree. I love it. Tefera, yes, team. So DM us the word. Here, let's the team. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so team, put the webinar link there for people who want to register. Now, once you've determined all of that, like I mentioned, how to start looking at deals, you will need an investor-focused team, right? And that's what we do at the Action Family. We help you with that because I can't even. Over the years, like, let me backtrack. Having an investor-focused team is so important. And what do I mean by investor-focused? Anyone can go find a lawyer, an attorney, a notary tomorrow. Just go Google it. I was going to say Yellow Pages. Does that even exist anymore? But Google it or whatever, or just say, hey, find a lawyer, attorney, notary. That does not mean that they are investor focused. And again, I'm not picking on lawyers or attorneys here. I'm just saying they're not all created equally. Sometimes I'll speak with a lawyer in Alberta and I'll say, hey, I'm doing an agreement for sale. And they tell me that's illegal. Well, no, it's not. You know what I mean? Just because you don't do it doesn't mean it's legal. I'll talk to an attorney in the US and I'll talk to them about using 401k or Roth IRA as a mortgage. And they say you can't do that here. Well, yes, you can. You know what I mean? So that's what Mel and I have amassed or put together as our Rolodex are investor-focused professionals such as lawyers, attorneys, notaries, accountants, CPAs, mortgage brokers, people that understand creative financing, insurance brokers. We actually have a group rate as part of our Action Family, and real estate agents. So these are people that understand it. When you say, hey, I want to buy a deal with someone else's money, they don't go, what? You can't do that, and kind of scoff at you. Like, okay, how do you want to do this, right? We'll show you how to do it just like Mel and Dave. Or sorry, not show you how to do it. That's my job. But we'll set you up just like Mel and Dave are doing in these 5 other countries. Okay, so the investor-focused team is so important. So let me just talk about Canada and the US. So let's say you're Canadian and you want to buy in Canada, whether it's in your own province, another province, we can help you do that properly. If you're Canadian and you want to buy in the US, right? This is a big mistake I see. I see a lot of Canadians follow strictly people that are only in the US and they buy in the US, but they don't know how to do it as Canadians. This is a big roadblock that I see for people, okay? If you're in Canada and you want to buy in the US, you need to do so as a Canadian, and there is a certain way to do that. Okay, it's not, you can't buy real estate in the US as a Canadian citizen, just like US citizen. It doesn't work that way. Same like if a US citizen wanted to buy in Canada, they can't buy the same as a Canadian citizen. Okay, there are nuances, there's different rules to that. So again, if you're Canadian and you want to buy in the US, as a Canadian, we can help you with that. If you're in the US and you want to keep buying in the US, or you want to buy in Costa Rica, we can show you how to do that. That's exactly what we do. Because again, there are certain ways to do so. Okay. Now, so yeah, that's the investor focused team. That's so important. Here, let me message Rebecca again because I need my phone charger. Not my phone charger, my laptop charger. Hopefully Rebecca reads my message before I've got 16%. We're still good here. Note to self, Dave, charge laptop or have laptop charge when you go live. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? But anyway, it is what it is. Now, once you find an investor-focused team, you have to know how to analyze deals and underwrite deals. And I know there's so many calculators out there and so many ways of doing it. Let me backtrack again. Remember how I just said there's lawyers and attorneys and accountants and CPAs? There's a plethora of them anywhere. You could, it doesn't mean it necessarily does what you're looking for. And that's what Mel and I, do I have sunshine just on my nose? I was like, what's wrong with my nose? Yeah, so the sunshine's poking through. But analyzing deal and analyzing deal and underwriting deals. This is so important. And this is why Mel and I have created our cash flow analysis matrix. We've actually had it trademarked. Okay. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I know you were back, but you probably didn't hear. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate you, Rebecca. All right. We're charging. We're live. We're good. We're not going to die here. Okay. So what was I saying? The way that Mel and I do it is, again, we buy income producing assets with no joint venture partners. We do not share ownership, decision-making, cash flow, refinances. Again, we'll talk about this on our webinar tomorrow, which you should be at. We don't do that, okay? That's the beauty. We get to keep all of it. Now, because we are leveraging other people's money strategically, smart, with an exit strategy, right? People will say, Dave, what's an exit strategy? Anyone can go raise money. Anyone can say, hey, I'm doing this deal, give me money, lend me money, and I'm going to give you X percentage of interest on the deal when I pay you back. Okay, cool. I see people do that all the time. I see it on social media all over the place all the time. But A, they don't have a track record, or B, even if they do have a track record, have they done it with other people's money successfully numerous times? And this is where a cash flow analysis matrix comes in, is it has 3 different quadrants to it. So basically quadrant number 1, why should you even buy the deal? Underwrite it, stress test it, sustainability test, whatever you want to call it, here to make sure that it has the cash flow or it has the ratios to make sense. Quadrant number 2 is basically how you're going to lift the asset. And then quadrant number 3 is, did you lift the deal enough to pay everyone back? Meaning, do you have a solid exit strategy to pay people back? And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, because I'm not the only one talking about creative financing on the internet, right? There's a lot of noise out there. OPM, seller financing, creative financing, raise funds. I 100% get that. What Mel and I specialize in, and I'm obsessed with it, and this is why, knock on wood, Mel and I have always paid everyone back, because I'm obsessed with the end before I get into the beginning. I have a plan, and this is what we show people. You should have a plan on how you're going to pay people back before you do any of this. If you don't have this, just forget about this. If you don't have an exit strategy, forget about doing the deal. You're just going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt other people. Like when you raise funds to do a deal, whether it's in Canada, US, Costa Rica, Mexico, Dominican Republic, just like Mel and I do, like I'll just take a lady, for example. I spoke with her last week, 2 weeks ago. So she's invested with Mel and I numerous years, numerous times. And I know she trusts me. I still show her everything, because again, I want her to trust me as much as possible, right? When I'm talking to her, and I said this to her the other day, I said, again, I just want you to know that I don't take this lightly. This isn't a game to me. This isn't a game to Mel and I. And this should not be a game to you either. I know sometimes I'll joke how real estate's like Monopoly, which it kind of is in real life. But when you're using other people's money, it's serious. And what I mean by this is, I was speaking with her. Again, I was at the hockey rink for my little guy. And he was getting dressed, so I had time to kill, right? No extra time. So he's in the dressing room doing his thing. The coaches are tying the skates. I'm on the phone talking to one of our private lenders. And I'm telling her literally that I don't take this lightly. Like, I understand the $100,000 that you are investing with me is the years and years and years of saving money, of missing out probably on things because you wanted to save. I understand that this is your retirement, and I understand that this is a huge duty and obligation for me. If I'm taking your funds the right way, right? Obviously, we dot our I's, cross our T's. That I have a plan. I have multiple plans to pay you back. If I can't refinance and get the money out, I'll sell the deal. Like Mel and I's model is, I would rather sell my house. Like, I'm in my house right now. We're in our dining room with the rock wall. Anyway, the windows are there. They keep going in my eyes. I'll sell my house before I don't pay an investor. And I mean that. Like, Mel and I have meant that from the beginning. Like, if something goes wrong with our deals, and we have multiple deals now, that we could just sell other ones and pay it off. But our whole motto, or whatever model from the beginning, was, the deal has to make sense. The deal has to exit itself. But if ever something happens, we would sell our house before we would not pay an investor back. And we truly mean that. Like, I'll buy another house. I can't buy another reputation. I can't buy someone else's savings and retirement again. And we're not here to hurt people. So that's how seriously we take other people's money and creative financing. So if you're thinking of doing it and you don't have a plan, guys, honestly, come to our webinar tomorrow. We'll talk about it. You get our free Amazon best-selling book. The nose thing is really bugging. Like the light on just my nose, I keep getting self-conscious. You guys might be laughing at home, whether you're watching this live or after. Like, Dave, you look like Rudolph here. But again, so Rebecca Simmons, so you just say they don't, okay. So you just said they don't have any experience, okay? Great question, Rebecca. Okay, so let me read the question. I was taking it as I took a sip. Rebecca says, so you just said they don't have any experience. Yes, which everyone has to start from the beginning, from somewhere, just like Mel and I. Mel and I had our first deal, right? We made a tons of mistakes, okay? So you just said they don't have any experience. How does someone get started if they are new to this? Rebecca, you're exactly the type of person that Mel and I want to help, because again, we have so many newbies that join the Action family, whether you are completely new to real estate, whether you're new to Canada or the US, you just immigrated, whether you're renting and have never purchased a home, whether you're renting and never purchased an income property, whether you already have 5 deals. These are all the people that we are able to help, right? It's just because you don't know how to do something yet doesn't mean you can't get started. And Rebecca, this is why Mel and I created the Action Family Mentoring Program. For those of you that haven't known us too long, we'll talk about this on our webinar. We had a really bad car crash in June of 2018. My God, it seems so long ago now, but that's 6 years ago. That is 6 years ago. 6 years this June. Wow. We had a really bad car crash, right? And that's when we decided to start helping other people. We already had 18 properties. We already had 76 units. We were already doing this. No, more than 76 units. I forget now. That was 6 years ago. But that's when we decided to start helping people. And this is the exact same reason why, Rebecca. You're saying, Dave, I don't have experience yet. Cool. Doesn't matter. This is where we can help you gain the experience. And this is where you can leverage us and our experience, right? So again, we'll show you how to negotiate. We'll show you how to structure. Just because you haven't done it doesn't mean anything. You don't know what you don't know yet. And this is where you're basically like, as much as Mel and I like to leverage other people's money and creative financing, when you hire a coach or a mentor, you are leveraging their knowledge, their experience, what they've done right, and also what they've done wrong to be able to not do that again. And that's the huge thing. Mr. Mike Gonzalez, renting, never purchased. Yeah, can help 100%. Mike, join the webinar tomorrow. It's free. And even if you can't watch it in the moment, you'll get our Amazon best-selling ebook. So yeah, guys, again, check it out. Let me know. But that's today. I want to talk a little bit on how to close deals from anywhere, from a 40,000 foot level. I know today was very general. Like, this is obviously like a loaded question, right? Depending which country, depending what you buy, if you're using your own money or other people's money. So today I was trying to go, macro. No, micro means in. Yeah, macro, a little bit more macro than micro. But hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, if you guys are not following Mel and I on different platforms, we're hopefully going to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're currently, by the time you're watching this video, we're currently at 93,800. So I'm hoping to hit 100,000 subscribers, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. On Instagram, we've been verified as well there too, guys. So if you're not on Instagram or Facebook, we've got a lot of different content on different platforms. But the most important thing, honestly, who cares about numbers on followers and all that, is Mel and I have now been doing this for a combined 25 years. Okay. We're not a COVID coach that started buying real estate. And I say this because, guys, I see a lot of noise on the internet as well. I see a lot of people that, hey, I just started buying real estate in 2020 or 2021, and now I'm a coach. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, there's just been some market cycles that they haven't seen yet. And that's the thing. Mel and I have been doing this for 25 combined years. Mel started just after the 08 crisis, right? So she saw the effects of that. Then we met. She had a few years on me in the real estate game. Then we met. We've been doing it together. So since like 2011 together. Anyway, whatever. It's over 25 years in combined experience. We don't do joint venture partners, and we specialize in other people's money and creative financing. So if you're looking for someone who's been there, done that, you basically get two coaches, right? Two mentors out of Mel and I. Join the webinar. And if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, hey, you learned, and there's no strings attached, and you get our free ebook. Cool. So I am actually heading out to the track and field. I'm going to be going live with the Action Family for my vehicle. So my little guy, my 9-year-old, is running track and field today. So this is the beauty of real estate is Mel and I are going to head out there and go watch track and field meet and talk about some real estate at the same time. So if you like this, DM us from any platform you're on, send us a message. We've got some free training and all that as well. So don't be shy. Hopefully you enjoyed today's conversation about how to buy real estate from anywhere like Mel and I do. And we'll see you at the webinar tomorrow.